was the talk of Manchester. In a moment, we'll find out the secret behind his new look. But first, let's look at a few other political barnets.
Darling, don't you go and cut your hair. Do you think it's gonna make him change? I'm just a boy with a new haircut, and that's a pretty nice haircut. Charge it like a puzzle, hitmen wearing muzzles. Hesitate to die, look around, the second drummer drowned. This telephone is found.
And I'm pleased to say we've been joined by top hairstylist Nicky Clarke. Welcome to the Daily Politics.
It's good to be here.
Yes, nice to have you on. So what do you think of George Osborne's new hairstyle? Did you notice?
I did. You could not notice,
No.
really, could you? I think I can kind of understand what he's doing. I mean, it does look a little odd, but maybe he'll grow into it.
Really?
I love the way we're doing the heavyweight pieces here.
Listen,
the whole conference
these are the popular bits of the show. It's very important because appearances, obviously, seem to be crucial in describing yourself as a politician.
I think it is, and I mean, certainly there's been all of the suggestions, of course, that he's preparing for his role as taking over the Prime Minister, and all of those puns that we're getting about, you know, recession-proof and stuff like that. But I think the fact is that anybody that knows that has been slightly losing their hair, it's much easier to kind of comb it all forward and have a slightly textured haircut.
Well, look, let's look at before and after. We've got the lovely split screen. Let's have a look. Remind me what it looked like before. Do you think it looks better? Does it make him look more approachable, the hair now?
I think it's going. Actually, it's fine both ways. But I think that what's happened is it does, because he's blessed with having dark hair still. It does have a tendency of looking slightly wiggy.
Do you think it does look slightly wiggy? Yours is all genuine, isn't it?
Mine's real, yeah.
Yes, but it has that grey that helps it.
Yeah.
It makes him look distinguished, supposedly. What, do you not like the hair, then? Do you not like his new haircut?
Well, I think George Osborne couldn't have had flat hair when the economy was flat.
You've got to make it.
And now it's
important. Do you look at things like politicians' hair, Anne?
I can't. Yes, you do. You notice that because there's no doubt there are some politicians who look a bit public school, never had to bother with my hair sort of thing, and it just looks naff. There's a naffness to some of those haircuts.
So what's your opinion of Boris's then? Because there's an irony.
No one cuts Boris's hair.
Boris has the, but it's, I don't know. It's just wonderful, isn't it?
Is that a hairdresser's dream? Would you like to get your hands on that hair?
I think it's great. I think it's great that he does his own thing. But in a way, that's so deliberate as well. I mean, you can see in between takes, it's deliberately not
to look as if he's
conforming.
Yes.
With David Cameron, you can see from the press gallery where I sit, and you look down, he's got a huge bald patch. And I suspect when he's in, the shower, his hair's all the way down his back, and he sort of weaves it round.
Isn't that the case then? When a man is going slightly bald, the rest of his hair goes naff.
No, I think the thing is that what we've learned over the years is that we really don't want to be kind of emulating the Bobby Charltons of this world, where you get the comb over. So the idea of actually cutting your hair short and wearing, it's a good thing to do.
Right. Well, let's have a look. What about embracing baldness or the no hair look, Nicky Clarke? What do you think of that? Let's have a look at some of the politicians. Well, there's Chuka Umunna, who's very young, of course.
Well, yes, that
helps. Well, I actually think it helps having a great shaped head, and I think also having darker skin also helps as well. The same if you were actually to take that on, maybe here we go.
Gosh, it's as if you did this yourself, Nicky Clarke. You wrote the script. There's William Hague.
Well, certainly better than it was when he was 12 years old, that's for sure.
Yes, I mean, it seems to suit him, doesn't it?
I think it
perfect for
does
baseball caps, I think.
Yeah, well.
But he's got so little hair. If he had those hairs long, you'd look like Arthur Scargill or Bobby Charlton. It'd be ridiculous.
Exactly.
But what about a Prime Minister who hasn't got hair, Anne?
Who's the last Prime Minister we've had who didn't have hair?
Douglas Hume, but he said it was a problem.
He was in a different era and people looked different then. He'd never get away with it nowadays.
Do you really think that people actually, think about that, think about hairstyles? I mean, have we really come to that kind of Americanised
I think if they look naff.
Image?
Not entirely, but it is.
I hope not.
You see the politician first before you hear them.
I'd actually rather them wear a better suit, to be quite frank. But then there's the whole thing of them thinking, oh, have I tried too hard wearing something that's just a bit too stylish?
As long as they don't wear a baseball
sharp.
cap again.
Let's
like
get well, and you said that. Let's well, looking at you, let's have a look at the more hirsute politicians. I mean, Nicky Clarke, you've got a bit of moustache. What do you think of John Thurso there?
I'm just wondering, is that Lord Lucan? Have we found him?
I think if we had, we would have probably put it out there in the news. No. Oh, and there's David Heath. Now, what do you think about beards and moustaches for politicians?
He looks very left-wing. That's all I can say.
Is that so? You think it does immediately point in a certain political direction?
I think you can't help.
Yeah, they're totally
being.
different.
I mean, if you take in the old days when Michael Foot wore the donkey jacket, that is certainly denoting that kind of hair, that sort of style of dress is denoting a style of politics.
That was
I don't think
car
you can.
coat from Harrods. It's in the People's History Museum in Manchester.
It's not. Is it?
What about moustaches? I mean, there aren't many around, are there, along the green benches?
No, they took them off in the New Labour era. People like Alistair Darling, they all went.
Oh.
I think it just looks a cleaner look when you're a politician.
Or is it because they look too left-wing, as Nicky Clarke was saying?
It's amazing how many of the Socialist Party actually did have. I mean, certainly through the 80s, it wasn't really the right-wing politicians that had them at all. I suppose there was far too much of it, looking like they were part of the gentry.
Shall I give you just a little line of philosophy? Marx and Engels, no prophet can succeed without a beard. Engels, those without facial hair are Philistines.
Dated?
Dated? Oh, I don't know, a long time ago.
long time ago.
1848 or something.
Don't ask difficult questions. Nicky Clarke, thank you very much. Welcome. Now, where would you find Nigel Farage, Boris Johnson and Elvis all at the same event? Well, at the Tory party conference, of course. Here's the week in 60 seconds.